Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we pull back the curtain on the absolute train wreck that is Harry and Meghan's public life. If you thought their endless complaints, multi-million-dollar property evictions, or failed lifestyle brands were bad, you need to brace yourselves. Today, we are diving into something far more serious, dark, and deeply disturbing. The title of this video is Zero Exaggeration. Prince Harry is currently caught in the absolute center of a horrifying international charity scandal involving horrific allegations of rape, torture, and severe human rights abuses. And the most damning part of it all, the sheer deafening silence coming straight out of Montecito. Let's break down the cold, hard receipts of what is actually happening on the ground. Prince Harry is currently facing aggressive global calls to immediately step down from his high-profile role on the board of directors for African parks. For those who don't know, this is a massive wildlife conservation charity responsible for managing 24 protected natural areas across 13 different African countries. Harry used to be El Presidente of this entire organization, and now he conveniently sits snugly on their board of directors. But things have gone from bad to absolute worse for the Ginger Royal. A major Indigenous rights charity called Survival International has blown the lid off horrific, systemic wrongdoing by armed rangers operating directly on the African park's payroll in the Republic of Congo. We are talking about egregious, stomach-turning crimes here. These are severe human rights abuses, intense physical violence, and sexual assaults that are so horrific we can't even detail them explicitly in a family-friendly video layout. The absolute peak of hypocrisy, African Parks has actively held a massive internal inquiry and has openly admitted that these horrific human rights abuses actually took place. They literally sat down over a cup of tea, held a mother's meeting about it, and apologized for the atrocities committed by their personnel. So my absolute burning question here is this: where on earth is Prince Harry? Why is he completely silent while his own rangers are abusing local tribes? These are not brand new accusations. Initial investigations and outcries exploded over a year ago. Yet, Harry refuses to speak up, and he stubbornly refuses to resign because he knows his elite charity credentials are the only thing keeping his global brand alive. And where is his wife, the self-proclaimed champion of racial justice and gender equality? Is speaking out against actual real-world violence against women suddenly too difficult when you're looking out from the palatial gates of a multi-million-dollar California mansion? It is an absolute PR disaster. The King's benevolent Midas touch has officially reversed everything this duo touches turns into an absolute hot mess. If you thought the horrifying silence over his African charity was the end of the line, it gets significantly worse for the Duke of Sussex. His entire global brand depends on his charity optics, but his absolute #1 vanity project is officially sinking like a stone. Let's look directly at the financial receipts for the Invictus Games. Serious criticism and outrage have erupted over shocking financial irregularities tied directly to the hosting of the Invictus Games in Canada. Let's look at the actual math behind this absolute sideshow because the numbers are completely mind-boggling. The total cost. It cost a staggering $63 million to host the event. The total participants. There were only 543 actual participants involved. The individual cost. When you break that math down, it equals an unbelievable $118,000 spent per single participant. This has sparked absolute justified outrage among actual veterans and the general public. People are looking at this massive vanity project, hoovering up all the available cash and asking the hard questions. For $118,000 a head, could that money not be spent on real, life-altering resources like advanced prosthetics, home modifications, specialized physiotherapy, or mental health counseling? But it gets even worse when you look at who actually swiped the credit card. Nearly half of that massive $63 million budget came directly out of the pockets of Canadian taxpayers. And now the British public is realizing that the games are headed to the UK next. Your government, you and I as taxpayers, are being forced to chip in massive amounts of pound-for-pound funding just to keep this massive Sussex show on the road Veterans who are dealing with severe PTSD, chronic pain, and missing limbs from their time in the forces are being pushed into the background. Instead of focusing on their bravery, the entire media cycle is hijacked by what outfit Meghan is wearing or Harry delivering an angry, coded political attack during his opening speech. Invictus is the only positive thing Harry has left in his life. He has completely lost control of Centre Bail. Archewell Philanthropies is essentially shuttered with key staff quitting or being fired, and his African Parks board seat is an absolute hot mess. Invictus is a sinking ship, and at the rate the money's running out, we might only see one more games before the entire thing collapses for good. Behind the fortress-like gates of their $14 million California property, a massive financial earthquake is currently taking place. Word on the street is that Meghan has officially had enough and has straight up told Harry, you need to get your butt out there and start bringing in some serious moolah. The gravy train they thought would run forever has officially come completely off the rails, turning into an absolute corporate train wreck. Let's look at the actual math of their survival, because it exposes the massive fault lines sitting directly beneath their marriage. When they first exited the royal family, they were riding incredibly high. Harry was commanding a staggering $1 million per single speaking engagement. The massive first Netflix deal had just landed, and the global sales from his book Spare were rolling in. But that initial pile of cash is disappearing, and it is disappearing fast. Their savings are dwindling, the Netflix cash is drying up, and right now there is absolutely zero fresh cash flow coming in. Meanwhile, just maintaining their basic elite California lifestyle is an absolute financial nightmare. The absolute peak of the comedy here is why they won't just do what any normal struggling family would do. Downsize, if they sold that bloated Montecito palace, they could easily buy a beautiful penthouse condo down in Miami Beach and live a completely perfect luxury life entirely within their means. Harry would actually be completely happy to do it. In fact, his actual dream would be to live on a dusty rural estate out in the sticks of Wyoming, surrounded by horses and chickens, drinking a beer in the evening. So why are they trapped in this financial vice? Because of Meghan's massive, unchecked ego. In the superficial world of Hollywood, your house sends a public message about your rank and your importance among the showbiz elite. She refuses to downsize because she is completely obsessed with living the hyper-luxury dream, forcing them to burn through what is left of their cash. Insiders are reporting that she's currently looking at their remaining balance, allegedly around 15 million quid left in the bank, and panicking because for her lifestyle, that is practically poverty. This whole crisis has forced them into a position of total desperation, and they are now completely united by a frantic desire to creep back into British royal circles. Meghan desperately needs to recalibrate her royal credentials so she can play the Grand Duchess again, and Harry needs to go crawling back to his dad to beg for a massive financial bailout because King Charles simply cannot suffer the ultimate global humiliation of letting his own son file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. While Harry and Meghan are frantically panicking over their depleting California cash reserves behind closed doors, a massive legal storm is brewing right across the pond, and the Sussexes are absolutely loving every single second of it. Word has officially leaked that the House of Windsor is facing a massive high scrutiny audit this summer. The British authorities are launching a deep dive investigation into the royal family's sprawling multi-million-dollar property empire, and the findings are already exposing a major public scandal. The audit is hyper-focusing on the shady financial arrangements surrounding royal accommodation, specifically looking at how certain members of the family are living in massive, luxurious castles while paying what is legally known as peppercorn rent. For those who don't know, a peppercorn rent is a completely nominal, non-market rate. It means these ultra-wealthy royals are hoovering up giant historical estates for a few $1,000s a month instead of the hundreds of thousands they would actually cost on the open market. The whole situation honestly stinks of elite privilege, and the British taxpayers are understandably completely angered by the double standards. Sources directly from the Sussex camp have revealed that Harry and Meghan are absolutely thrilled that the royal family is finally facing this scrutiny. They are smugly clapping back, pointing out that they are out here earning their own wage in the real world. But let's call out the absolute blinding hypocrisy of that statement. The only reason they aren't relying on a taxpayer subsidy right now is because King Charles booted them out of the UK, and they've already burned through their royal handouts They are completely happy to watch the palace burn, entirely ignoring the fact that they'd run right back to calling daddy for a bailout the second their bank account hit zero. The current king is completely caught like a rabbit in the headlights, totally paralysed and unsure of how to handle the devastating headlines about the royal estate exploiting public institutions. But Prince William is entirely aware of the damage. William wants to be a highly consequential king, and he has made it clear on global television that modernisation and change are at the absolute top of his agenda. He thinks it is completely crazy that people like Prince Edward are living in massive castles for 11 pence a month, and he is determined to stamp out the bad PR for good. While the king is paralysed by the property scandal, Prince William is already stepping up and executing a massive historic real estate move that completely puts Harry and Meghan to absolute shame. To erase the toxic headlines and modernise the monarchy for good, William has authorised a massive sell-off of a giant chunk of the Duchy of Cornwall estate, the historic royal portfolio that provides the private income for the Prince of Wales. We are talking about a jaw-dropping masterstroke that is set to bring in a staggering £500 million. And where is that £500 million actually going? It isn't going toward luxury fixtures, vegan paint, or copper bathtubs. William is funneling every single penny of it directly into building low-cost housing for homeless people, regenerative farming, and incredible philanthropic projects across the country. This is what actual consequential leadership looks like. While Prince William is out here solving homelessness and actively modernising the monarchy, Harry and Meghan are sitting in their bloated California mansion, completely broke at each other's throats and treating their own charities like a desperate personal grift. Let's look at the absolute destruction of Harry's remaining brand assets. The Centrebell loss. Centrebell was a charity Harry was genuinely passionate about before he met Meghan, but he completely lost control of it, visiting Lesotho only about 3 times in 6 whole years. The Archewell shut down. Archewell Philanthropies is essentially completely shuttered behind the scenes, with key members of their elite staff either quitting in disgust or getting fired. The African Parks horror. His conservation board seat is completely ruined by severe human rights abuse, rape, and torture investigations. The Invictus sinking ship. Corporate sponsors like Boeing have completely run for the hills, leaving the games facing a devastating massive funding crisis. It is a total, definitive collapse. If Invictus runs out of money, which it aggressively is, we are looking at the literal end of Harry's public purpose. If he loses these gigs, what is Harry even for anymore? He's going to be left sitting at home alone, vacuuming down Wendy's Baconators by the dozen, playing swing ball in the garden, and watching inappropriate 90-second comedies whenever Meghan leaves the house. It is a tragic, mind-boggling downfall for a guy who was once a genuinely dynamic, popular figure, but he completely walked away from real duty for a superficial Hollywood hustle that is totally blown up in his face. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Prince Harry remaining on the board of a charity facing such horrific abuse claims? Would celebrities like George Clooney or Oprah Winfrey ever stay attached to a corrupt organisation like this? Drop your brutal thoughts in the comment section down below. If you want to ensure you never miss another deep dive, another financial receipt expose, or another royal call out, make sure to absolutely smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. I am going to keep these highly entertaining, hard-hitting investigations coming your way consistently. Thank you all so much for the incredible support. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.